Guys, welcome back to the channel Style by C. Today's tutorial will be on how to recreate these beautiful shots. Do subscribe to the channel, share to friends, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and turn on your notification bell. So guys, this is the material we're going to be working with. Alright, so the first thing first is you're going to be marking 4 inches from the tip or the top of your fabric downwards. Please note this is on a single form. I did not fold it, it's just single that way. So from here now I'm going to mark 4 inches. Okay, I don't know if my chalk is clear enough. So this is my 4 inches. Then from the side too, I'm also going to mark 4 inches. Okay, so this is what we have. So now the next thing you're going to do now is you're going to divide your waist measurement by 3. Whatever your waist measurement is, please go ahead and divide it by 3. Okay, so my waist measurement is 28 inches. I'm going to divide it by 28 to 29 inches. I'm going to divide it by 3. Okay. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead to divide my waist measurements into 3 and I have 9.5 inches. Okay, yokes may differ. So from this point now, I'm going to go ahead and make a cone, just like when you're making a peplon or a flea. So that's what I'm going ahead to create now. So guys, this is what I have. Just go ahead and extend this. Okay, so having done this now, the next thing I'm going to be marking is the length of my trouser. The length of my trouser, it can be a trouser or a short, but for this is a short. Okay, so for this now, I'm going to be marking the length of my short. So I want my short to be at least 24 inches long. All right, so from here now I'm going to, so guys, the next thing I'm marking now is the length of my shorts. Okay, so for this now I'm going to be removing 1.5 inches, that is for my waistband, and I'm going to mark the full length of my shorts. So the length of your shorts may differ from mine. For mine, I want it to be a little longer than what we have in the picture. So I'm going to be working with 22 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, making it 23 inches. This is what I have here. So that's how I'm going to place my tape round this circumference. This is this one we have now. This is going to be serving as our waist circumference. Okay, so I'm going to mark my 23 inches round to make a cone. So what you have to do is just keep adjusting your material, just like I'm doing because of space. So I'm adjusting my fabric just to get what I want. All right, so Then for this area, I'm also going to go ahead and mark my 4 inches. Remember, we marked 4 inches on the side when we started earlier. Okay, so that still stands until we are done with what we are doing. So guys, the next thing we're going to do now is to mark our crotch depth. Okay, so how to get your crotch depth is you're going to divide your hip measurements by 4. Then you're going to be adding extra 1 inch to get your crotch depth. Okay, so mine is 38 inches. When I divide it by 4, I have 11, I have 9.5 inches. Then I add one extra 1 inch. Please don't mind my voice. I add extra 1 inch to it, making it 11.5 inches. So from this waist circumference now, which is here, I'm going to be marking my 11.5 inches, and this is where it falls. Okay, so this is what we have here, our 11.5 inches. Then to mark where our crotch, this thing is going to, like the wideness of our crotch from this point outward, what you have to do is you divide that your crotch measurement by 4. So 11.5 divided by 4, we're going to be having 2.8 inches. So from here, I'm going to mark it outward, and this is where it lies. Okay, now divide from here to here, that is your crotch depth measurement, into 2. This is 11.5. Fold your tape into 2 to get that crotch measurement, and this is what we're going to have. Okay, so having done this, now we're going to be connecting this to this to make a slight curve inwards. So if you have a curved drill, fine, you can go ahead and use a curved drill, but I'm using a free hand to make my curve, and this is what I have. Okay, please note it's stopping here. I'm not getting to this point. So having done this now, I'm going to come to the bottom of the pants or the short. So this is the bottom of our short, right? And we have 2.8 inches here. I'm going to be removing half an inch from here. So 2.8 inches minus half an inch, I'm going to be having 2.3 inches. So from this bottom part of the pants, I'm going to mark 2.3 inches, which is here. So from here now, I'm going to be connecting it to this 2.8 inches this way. Then I'm going to make a curve here. Okay, so this is what we have. All right, so having done this now, I'm going to go ahead and add extra half an inch to this area. The half an inch I'm adding to this curved part is just for stitching allowance. So that is what I'm going to do to this curved part. All right, then we'll now work on our back piece, that is this side of the pants. So before then, I'm going to note that this side is the front, and I'm going to mark F. I marked F here. Then I'm going to come to this side. We'll now work on this side. So the same thing we did on the back, the front piece, that's the same thing we're going to be doing here. We're going to mark our crotch depth, which is 11.5 inches here. Then we're going to find the midpoint, just like how we did for the front piece. Then we're also going to mark that our crotch outward, like we have used 2.8 inches on the other part, where we divided our crotch measurements into 4 to get 2.8. So the same thing, we're going to also mark it here. This is what we have. So having done this now, the next thing to do is on this back crotch now, I'm going to be adding extra half an inch to it, because this is our back piece. Usually our back pants or trousers are more extended than our front piece. So that is why I'm adding half an inch to this area. Okay, so the front one we use 2.8 inches, but for the back one we're adding extra half an inch to our 2.8 inches. Okay, so now this is half of our crotch measurements. I'm going to be connecting it to this piece. Sorry, I'm using a free hand, but just go ahead and make a fine curve for yours. Okay, so this is what I have. Just like how we added extra half an inch to the other front, we're also going to be adding it to this piece. Okay, so next thing now we're going to do is we're going to come to the bottom of our back piece. This is our back side now. All right, so we're going to be removing half an inch from, like, we use 2.8 plus half an inch. So now I'm going to be marking what I have here, which is 2.8. I'm not going to be adding this half an inch again to it. All right, and I'm going to be connecting it to this piece. So this is what we are going to have. All right, then for our waist circumference we're going to be adding half an inch upwards for seam allowance at the bottom. So you can go ahead and use a free hand. You can go ahead, if you just want to get an accurate measurement, go ahead and use your tape. So anyone that works for you is totally fine. So this is me going ahead to add the half inch on top of the waist circumference. Okay, so question might arise, why did you use 3 inches to divide your waist circumference? I used 3 inches to divide it because this is a flare pants, this is a flare short, it's not a straight pants. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we're going to go ahead and cut this piece off or out. So I've cut out that area. And I'm also going to mark this piece as my back side, so that it will not be confusing when we are done cutting it out entirely. So this is what I have. Okay, so this is the front side and this is the back side. I'm going to be folding it in. So when you fold it, this is what you're going to be having. Now the front side is going to be smaller than the back side. All right, reason is our back piece is usually larger than the front size. That is why it is more bigger. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and slit this open. So after cutting it out, this is what I have. I went ahead and folded the fabric into two. This is my back piece and this is my front piece. Okay, now the back piece is more longer or larger than the front piece. Okay, because usually we added an extra inches and the back is higher than the front, is more larger than the front. Now if you notice at the upper parts of this, the front tends to be more longer. So what you have to do is go ahead and deepen it and cut off the excesses you have at the front. Okay, so that it will match together. So that's what you're going to go ahead to do. Then you also go ahead and cut it off. Now you slit it open in between. So this part you're slitting open now is the side of our pants or of our shorts. Now we have our back, we have our front. So we're going to be using this to cut out another piece for our back and this another piece of for our front, right side facing each other. Guys, this is for my front piece. I'm going ahead to place it on top of another plain fabric to cut out the other piece of it. Okay, so this is what we're going ahead to do now. So the same thing I did here, I'm also going to do it for my back piece. Okay, I'm also going to cut out another piece for it. So I'll also go ahead and label it for as my front. Now we're going to be joining our front pieces to our back pieces. This is our front and this is the back piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and join it side to side. I'm going to join this side. Then I'm going to go ahead and close up this down part, starting from this crotch depth here down. Okay, that's what I'm going to do to the side, two sides. Then for my pockets, I'm going to be leaving some spacing at this waist area after maybe half an inch or 0.25 of an inch. Then I'm going to leave about 7 inches for my pockets in. Alright guys, so this is for my pockets in. All the sizes are 14 inches, like from here to here is 14, from here to here is 14. So all the sizes are 14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it into two this way. Then I'm going to run a stitch on the upper part and the down part of it, that's this both ends. Then I'm going to be leaving a few inches to enable me attach it to my shorts. Okay, so that's what I'm going ahead to do now. So after running a stitch on it, which I've not done, I'm going to go ahead and attach it this way to the shorts. So guys, the next thing we're going to be doing now is we're going to be joining the two shorts together. Okay, so this is our front piece, the other end is the back pieces. So I'm going to pick the two fronts like this. I'm going to go ahead and run a stitch on it, alright, towards the back area. Please mind you, we're going to still be attaching a zip, so we're going to be leaving a few inches for our zip. Okay guys, so at this point now we're done joining the shorts together. This is what we have. Now the next thing we're going to be working on is the band. Okay, my band is 2 inches to 2.5 inches fold on a fold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it on my waist. That's what I'm going to go ahead to do now. Guys, this is the final look of the shorts. This is what we have. Thank you so much for watching. See ya in our next tutorial, and stay tuned for more.